All right, we did it. I assume we're live. Let me give it the old 1, 2. It looks like we are. Welcome, everybody. It has been a hot minute since I've been streaming, but here I am feeling like absolute hot dog water. But the show must go on. I have a new guest with me today, someone I've met actually in person before, Mr. Robert Mizen. I appreciate you stopping by the stream and hopping on with me tonight. So, if you
No
don't know
worries.
Robert, I'll let him take it away with a little introduction. And his channel is in the description. So go give him a little subscribe.
Thanks, man. Well, just for those of you who are watching who haven't seen me before, my name is Robert. I make less videos than Brett, but I'm a teacher full time, so I don't always have that much energy to do stuff and make videos and stuff when I do have the spare time on home labs, Linux stuff. And yeah, met with Brett a few weeks back now, I guess, right? So.
And we're not close in
No,
proximity at all, are we?
no, it's 1 a.m. here.
Yeah,
So
1
I'm
a.m.
in
It's 6 p.m.
Sweden.
here, 1 a.m. there. You're in where
Sweden.
again? Where
In
you at?
Gävle in Sweden. It's
Sweden,
about
that's right. Yeah.
halfway up the country. So, but I'm from the UK, but it's I live in
Yeah.
Sweden. So,
It's
you know.
quite a bit a ways. So cool. Who we got in the chat right now? Who's a bunch of early birds? We got Rob Fong, thank you so much. Tom Lawrence from Lawrence Systems with the smiley face. Thank you, Tom. Trey, Bobby Flay, what is up, my dude? Jason, welcome back. Oh, two Jasons. We got Whitmer and Budney. Welcome back, both of you. Mr. Nighthawk ATL, good to see you again. A couple of new faces. We got one unknown entity. Welcome. Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. Welcome, man. I know it's getting close to your bedtime.
Yeah.
Mr. Allen, there he is. We got Brendan. We got Ronker. Welcome back. Albert, what is up, my dude? Guy. Old man. Mr. Brandon Potter, welcome back. And Peter, welcome. Another UK person. And John, welcome everybody to the stream. We are going to be hanging out. And if you're wondering why I sound different, yes, I am a little bit sick. Luckily, feeling a little bit better than I was today. But we are going to power through it. Don't worry, you guys. But yeah, first thing I want to discuss is how we actually met and why we actually met. We both were going to the Nextcloud conference. So I assume all of you know. Nobody in this chat, if they've spun up a home lab, doesn't know what Nextcloud is. It's one of the first things you spin up right besides like a Ubuntu VM,
Plus
Pi-hole, and like Nextcloud.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, Nextcloud reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you want to come to our conference?" And I was like, "That sounds pretty cool." And they were like, "Oh, nice. It's in Berlin." I was like, "Oh, that's far away." So luckily, it ended up working out. And then I mentioned I was in Berlin, and Robert on Twitter, I think you were like, "Hey, I'm going to Berlin. Why are you there?" So we ended up hanging out. It was a good time. What did you think of the conference overall?
Yeah, I mean, met my first YouTuber there, so there's that off the list. But also, I mean, it was surprising, to be honest with you. I was expecting it to be a dry, but it was quite opposite of that, to be honest. I mean, there were some pretty big announcements there. My first conference for a tech thing, so I mean, everyone's probably seen the announcements now, so they kind of know what we're probably referring to. But I mean, there was a lot of big moves there by Nextcloud. So, and there was a lot of fun. Also, the German culture of stuff was pretty interesting. I think we would do well there. You know, German work culture is probably quite good.
I agree. I think it was surprising. So yeah, if you guys want to see the actual conference itself, pretty much all of it was live streamed over on the Nextcloud YouTube channel. So if you want to go over there and check it out, it was actually really interesting. And I'm not just saying that like I am not sponsored by Nextcloud. I'm not affiliated with them. They did sponsor my trip to go over there, but that's it. I'm not obligated to say anything nice about them at all. But it was really a really good conference. They got some people over that really care about the work that they're doing. So yeah, they did release Nextcloud Hub 6, their newest version. A lot of stuff in there that I really didn't know that Nextcloud did. Like,
Mm.
like it's essentially like a whole ass software suite.
Yeah, I see it's more than I thought also. So I've been using it for like files and stuff like that. But actually, you can hook in so much stuff into it that it's like a hub. I realize why they call it hub now.
Yeah.
It's kind of, okay, that makes sense. So
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Trey, yes. Stepped away for a second. Yeah, I did say hi to you, of course. I would never miss an opportunity to shout you out. So I'll do it again. Trey, Bobby Flay, welcome to the stream. There is your validation. But yeah, so it the conference itself was pretty awesome. One of the big topics of the conference itself was their introduction of the Nextcloud Assistant, which can tie into a local AI server that you're running. Now, here is where I talk about my experience with setting that up. So I went ahead and spun up Nextcloud Hub 6 with their AIO container deployment, and it was not working out of the box for me. So what I actually had to do, let me pull it up here. I can actually show you what I'm running. Let's pull this out. Any information I shouldn't have on the screen? Doesn't look like it. No nudes. We're good. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm running a Docker container running local AI. So I'm hosting my own AI server. I actually put a RTX 2070 Super into my server, passed that through to the VM, and ran it in Docker to spin up this local AI. And then I am able to hook into my
Nextcloud from there.
Nextcloud instance. Let me pull that up. So if we look at that, let's minimize this. So if we look at that, we can go in and be like, hey, all your AI stuff, check it out. You can hook into a direct local AI URL, and that uses, you can pick from any models you've put in there. And I know a lot of people don't really give a shit about AI, but it is getting popular, and we are seeing a lot of companies use it. So
yeah,
I tried spinning it up. It is pretty interesting. It isn't perfect by any stretch. I keep looking at this screen because I think my webcam's right there, but it's right here. It is not perfect. If I do a call, like I'll show you guys a live demo of it. If I do something like I go into, I think I just used this as an example, and I want to say, okay, give me a summary of this.
Someone just asked for ChatGPT. It does support OpenAI also. It's
Yeah,
that is one of
so
the AI providers.
yeah. Let me run this real quick. So what you do is like you can see this Nextcloud Assistant, which is an integration. You just have to click one button to install it.
Yeah.
Highlight something, click that. You can summarize it, generate a headline, reformulate it, translate it. What we're going to do is we're going to summarize it. Yep, this looks right. We're going to hit summarize, and what it's going to do is it's going to be scheduled, and now it's going to shoot that to my AI server. And it actually, for some reason, takes a while. So we can sit here and watch the logs and see how long it actually takes for it to hit, which is surprising. Because at first I thought it wasn't working, but man, it takes a hot minute to get over there. I don't know why, but
I haven't tried the separate server setup quite yet. I've just been doing the local one, and I found that the local one is like it's actually fairly snappy. I can give it summarized text, and it does it definitely within a couple of minutes. However, like this is quite new, so I feel like there's some growing pains here. So, but definitely, I'm gonna have to try your method. I need to find another server.
it was a pain in the ass to set up. Is 720p normal? No, it's because StreamYard, which I used to stream, charges you to stream over 720p. I'm already paying to use StreamYard, but then there's another tier if you want to stream in anything higher than 720p, which is quite annoying, TBH. But Yeah. So when I have guests on, it's a lot easier to use StreamYard, but unfortunately it's in 720p. So I apologize for all the individual pixels you guys have to see.
Probably good for us though, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I make my box really
1
small.
1 a.m. 1 a.m. rubber is not what you want to see in high
Yeah.
definition.
So yeah, you can see it's still working. It still hasn't hit that API, which is crazy. Like
That's strange. It
it
seems
is.
like it's taken longer than it should take.
It is really, really slow. And you can see it hit it before because it runs this get models
Yeah.
whenever you go to look at your when you go to connected accounts to get these models, it actually hits the API to see what models you have loaded. So you can see it hit that instantly.
I mean,
For
the
some
speed could be a kind of not so much like a network issue. I'm feeling like it might be how APIs are handling through between containers. Maybe I don't know. Like I don't know. The AI is quite aggressive. It's quite a lot of traffic to handle, and some API like the API between your container for the AI and Nextcloud might be bottlenecked, maybe of some kind. I don't know. It's worth having a look into.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can even run so it hasn't even loaded the model into it does have. I'm pretty sure. Why are we not seeing I have to run on the host, but yeah, we have. So this is what hosting my own AI server has opened me to why when I see people who say they run their own AI, big old AI server, they have a crap ton of GPUs with like 24 gigs of RAM each.
Yeah.
I'm running one model right now loaded into the VRAM, and it's 6.5 gigs out of my 8 on my graphics card.
Yeah.
So that is why people like a lot of VRAM on their GPUs when
Yeah, that's one
running
reason.
AI. Yeah, because it loads the entire model directly into the RAM and runs against that. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever taken this long. This is painfully.
It's because there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we
Nice.
go.
I was going to say because you're live streaming. That's why.
Yeah,
Because you're
really.
doing it
They
live.
wanted
That's
to
why it has to slow it.
throw me under the bus. So yeah, you can see the GPU is doing something now. 22%. Probably already done. That wasn't a very difficult. Oh, there it is. There's a response. If we go back to Nextcloud, you should see a little check mark. We do. Show us just the results, summarize. And yeah, it basically took this block of text and summarized it into Nextcloud is blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I mean, that once it hit the model, it was pretty fast.
Yeah.
But for some reason, why it took so long to just make that API call is interesting. So
it might be that the thing is the hub is new, and then you've got the different AI models and stuff. It could be the way how they communicate. This is such a fast paced like new thing.
It hits it instantly when I do the settings. When I go to settings, and I'm like, hey, check it out. Boom, instant API call.
Yeah.
So it's just not even hitting it yet. So that's just weird, and it's brand new. So I knew there was going to be growing pains with this.
Are you using Nextcloud all-in-one for the container image? Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would be the best one. I'm not actually.
Yeah, that's the one they officially say to use.
I'm not using that one. I'm using the True Charts version of Nextcloud.
Yeah,
right?
I have two instances. Yeah, I'm running.
Just got updated.
Yeah, I'm running the AIO version for testing Hub 6, and I just upgraded my Docker version to Hub 6, and that one needs an update because it won't even hook into my API at all. It won't even hit the get models call at all. So, but yeah, growing pains. Are you running Tailscale by any chance? I have a config problem with it, and it brought my network to its knees. Currently, no. I have run Tailscale before. It has been pretty good to me for the most part. I have run into some weird issues, especially with DNS across Tailscale. Pretty much DNS across any VPN can be a fickle
Can be.
person.
I have to say I haven't had the problem, but I don't use Tailscale. So
I like Tailscale. It is extremely easy to set up. Obviously, when you get when you have config issues, obviously not. But
yeah,
for a lot of people, it's pretty solid.
I'm finding the mix of like Cloudflare stuff for some random things, but then also using ubiquities like like the WireGuard client has been working really good for
Yeah,
me, and proxies using the proxy service. So it's actually working really well. Also, Nextcloud hates you can't run Nextcloud behind a VPN. It sucks so much.
dude,
You
I'm
can't
I'm
do
having
calendar or
issues.
nothing.
Yeah,
So
I'm having issues with Nextcloud with my Office integration with the Collabra plugin.
uh-huh.
It will not load Nextcloud Office docs. I'm getting like cannot connect issues trying to run through Cloudflare. When I do it locally, like through local DNS, it works.
Running through reverse proxy is like I buried my head in my machine trying to get it to work with reverse proxies in Cloudflare, and it's such a difficult job. So I instead have just exposed the service, and I'm using multi-factor authentication with YubiKeys and hardware like Mac devices basically to
Yeah,
make sure no one can access it. So I mean, and that works good because I tried to sync the calendars, and like when you're trying to do the CalDAV stuff and the CardDAV over
yeah,
the reverse proxy with Cloudflare, it's a huge pain in the ass to do that. So
yeah. I've run into a few hiccups that I'm trying to resolve because I do want to do a Nextcloud video where I try to use all their stuff that they have to offer, see what it's all about.
mm,
But if I can't use the Office thing, um, I mean, I know there's a way around it. I just gotta figure it out, or I might utilize my connections at Nextcloud to hit them up and make them help
yeah,
me.
man, yeah, that's what you should do. Flex,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for real. Tailscale allows you to specify DNS in their config to solve DNS issues.
Or
Yeah,
cause
so
more.
that's the first
Mm,
thing to start with. Like Ronker said, it's always DNS.
yes,
You may think it's not DNS when you have a network issue, and you may have think you ruled it out, but you actually didn't ever, because it is in fact always a DNS issue.
for me, yeah.
That is 100% true.
Except in my student environment at work, then it's not. It's always network loops. That's a constant problem.
Oh yeah,
So students are awesome at that. So
yeah. Anything breaks, you just blame it on the students. I
oh
feel like
yeah,
that's the way to do it. Um, okay, so let's talk about home lab stuff.
mm,
This is just pretty open ended, pretty generic about current projects that you're working on. Also, anyone in the chat, if you want to
yeah.
share what you're working on, so we can critique it and um,
Either flex
applaud you for your
or
efforts
yeah,
and
yeah,
make ourselves feel better for all the issues we have on our projects. That would be totally
yeah. Welcome.
optimal. But Robert, what you got? What you got going on these days?
Honestly, right now, a few days ago, I decided I need to dive into Kubernetes. I don't know whether I'm going to regret that, but probably.
100%.
So,
You're gonna
so
regret that.
yeah. But I'm actually doing Podman. So I'm
Okay.
actually running a small micro Podman server that I started to learn, and then looking at with SUSE basically. So OpenSUSE, Podman, Cockpit, and yeah, wrong I said about audio recorder. I definitely like Kubernetes. I was reading through documentation on it, and honestly, it just makes me want to like spoon my eyes out with this. This not good. But I also really think that when you look at like the trajectory of like just networking in general, you really need to know it on an enterprise level, and that's kind of where my main job comes in. Like I'm teaching students on enterprise stuff, so I kind of have to. So I'm being forced into Kubernetes at gunpoint. But Podman is like my current project at the moment.
Yeah,
So
Kubernetes is it's cool when it works. People have very strong feelings, one way or the other, about Kubernetes. I know people who swear by it. Techno Tim,
yeah,
one of them, and some people in my Discord who absolutely hate it.
mm,
I'm kind of in the middle, honestly, because when it works, it's pretty freaking awesome. I will say. But when it doesn't work, holy crap, is it a pain to troubleshoot. So when I did my Kubernetes, my introduction to Kubernetes, I pretty much avoided all the deployments where it does everything for you.
Yeah.
Mainly specifically all the Ansible playbooks I saw that are like, here, just download this playbook, run it, and boom, you have a Kubernetes cluster. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if I was just trying to get a Kubernetes cluster spun up, then yeah, but I'm trying to learn about Kubernetes and how it works
Exactly.
and how to deploy it. So I purposely avoided those, which definitely caused more pain to my soul. But
you
in the
probably
end,
learned,
I think it was actually, I have a video on it. If anyone in the chat hasn't seen that, it's my week to learn Kubernetes video. Feel free to go check that out. But oof.
I haven't done that yet, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to make a video on Kubernetes yet. I'm right now. I'm doing focus heavily on Podman, but like OpenSUSE and Podman, and then they actually own Rancher. So it's kind of like, okay, I don't really want to go Portainer, even though you kind of can. It's like, well, okay, I'll use Rancher because that's also by the same company or the same. It's owned by the same company now. It's like, well, it feels like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I just as well go full in, just jump in to the deep end.
Rancher's the K3S people.
So,
being able to manage a Kubernetes cluster in Portainer is pretty cool and something I've briefly looked at, but I need to check out more. We have a question. Mr. Noah says, is it a good idea to use Nextcloud for your be all, I guess, end all storage location? It's not really designed to be a one-stop shop for your all your storage stuff.
No.
It's just like cloud
it's
hosted. So if you want to use it
storage,
for like backups, but it's not really like a
where you should put everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really there, right? I mean, it's on like, I mean, mine goes to TrueNAS. So my TrueNAS server has the storage. And then Nextcloud has access to that.
Nextcloud sits on top of like an existing file system that you've already created. It's not like it's spinning up its own file system and managing a RAID array or something. You have to have all of that in place already. But it is a good software for cloud storage, and even more. So I'd say no.
Everyone who's sat in the chat now probably is pretty comfortable managing most stuff. But if you're going to like hook your grandma in, it's like probably you don't want her to like use TrueNAS scale. Probably better just to give her an account on Nextcloud. That would be easier. So
yeah, people just like to say the word Kubernetes. I agree. It is a very fun word to say, and you do sound very important and cool when you say it.
It is.
So any opportunity you have at like work or something, maybe you're just out with your friends at the bar, just throw Kubernetes around, man. They don't have to know what it means. But
to be honest, I prefer Technotim's sudo. So
sudo.
Yeah, I love it. Sudo.
I'm a sudo guy.
Yeah, sudo.
I don't know if that makes me a dumb Southern American.
I know. I live in Sweden. I'm from the UK, and I say sudo.
Well, then I guess not. So
then it's fine, So I think it's Technotim who's special. So
spent the last few weeks understanding Cilium and Kubernetes networking. Man, that sounds like a miserable week. Kubernetes networking is not fun to learn if you don't have any experience with network management for containers. Then it is a big undertaking. But if you've worked with like Docker networking, it's not as bad, but it can be a little tricky.
Isn't it one of those weird things, right? When you say, it's not, unless you know networking, that's like a whole like headache in itself. And then you throw in like networking for containers. It's like, oh my God, that's like a whole networking thing entirely. Oh my God.
Networking is a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It is. So it's the more you dive into networking stuff, the more you're like, holy shit, how do people become experts in this stuff? This is bonkers. I know just enough to be dangerous. So, let's see what else we got. Peter says, I run YOLO boxes for live streaming. I don't know if that's an actual thing, if you're just calling them YOLO boxes. What I would like to do is broadcast one stream to an RTMP Nginx server and record it to my NAS and rebroadcast it for recipients' ideas. I actually set up my own RTMP server the other day for my dad to watch legally obtained videos and streams that I am running at my house.
Linux ISOs also, right?
Yeah, 100%
ISOs, yeah.
legal. Yeah, and stream Linux ISOs to them.
Yeah.
Just yeah. So I'm using. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where am I even hosting it? I got too many freaking servers these days. It's called Owncast, and I do not remember. Is that my password? Nope, doesn't look like it. Oh wait, it was this, wasn't it? Nope. Is it this? There it is. Oh wait, I think I'm actually still streaming. Let me see. Hold on. This will be funny. It'll be so funny. It'll be hilarious. Everyone's just gonna laugh so hard.
Depends on what they're watching.
Yeah. So okay, I'm actually still streaming. So if I go to Owncast and I go to my stream,
for sure, Nighthawk, for sure.
So check this out. I feel like this is gonna look weird on camera, but let's. So I'm running a look up Owncast. It's a self-hosted site. It just spins up a site for you to watch or for you to stream an RTMP stream to. Super easy to set up. I set it up. I'm literally streaming my Tiny Pilot instance, which is just a little Intel NUC in my server rack. And that is live streaming. And it's pretty neat. Apparently I've been live for almost 24 hours. So yeah, I'd recommend that. Just ties into OBS, super easy to set up.
Trey was asking about, for those who don't know what RTMP is, it's just a protocol for messaging, which handles
what live streams
all media basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I'd recommend setting up Owncast. If you have questions about it, hit me up in the Discord. I can just walk you through. I think I just built a little Docker Compose file for it and set it up. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Also, it doesn't actually use that much bandwidth. It's surprising. It's not that.
You can set. So, well, there's one cool setting in Owncast. Let me find it. So let me make sure I'm not sharing my private stream key. Where is it? In here? There's a cool setting.
Yeah, Nighthawk. That's like the reason I was looking into before for YouTube and Twitch. It's that's one of the reasons to multicast stream, because some of those services get quite expensive.
Okay, yeah. Let me share. This is a pretty cool setting they have on here. How do I do this? So there's something called, I think it's technically in beta, but it's called video pass-through. And when you turn that on, it doesn't do any transcoding on the stream PC itself. It passes the direct stream through from the host machine to the Owncast server. So as long as you're encoding in something like H.264 that's readable by like everything, then you can set this, and you basically your system won't have to use any resources. So this is a very low powered system, and we're sitting at 13% CPU usage. I think it's an N95 system. And we're streaming 1080p 4000 bit rate, and it's not using basically any it is using half of the GPU because we are using QuickSync, but I am also dumb, and this is the stream PC. I meant to look at the Owncast system, and it should be running basically nothing. Let me see if I can pull up I think it's running on here. Too many servers.
$15 containers in there. Nice. Getting a little dive into Radar's brain.
So here's the Owncast app, and it shouldn't be using much of anything really. 5% CPU usage right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically nothing.
Tons,
So
basically.
it's pretty cool. Owncast is awesome. And now we just shot up to 107. So I don't know if
your
that's
live
a bug,
streaming,
but
so
it shouldn't. It sits pretty low from what I've looked at. But yeah, pretty neat stuff. Got off on a tangent there.
that's the point, right?
What else? Mr. Jason Budney said, I just had to order a mini SAS to SAS by 4 cable. Ordered SAS drives by accident. Yep. I've been there.
On that, yeah.
I spent, I can't remember what video it was, but I spent like a couple of days of troubleshooting because I was trying to stick SAS drives into a SATA NAS, and I felt like the world's biggest idiot. So I've been there. Been there, done that.
I've done it also, but also you've just got to jank it together. You know, that's like home labbing is just to jank it together.
Why do they gotta make them? Yeah, why do they gotta make them look so similar, like the SAS and the SATA ports? Like, come on. Like the SATA ones are separated a little bit. The SAS ones are like the same thing, just like pushed together. Like,
yeah.
Or at least just put SAS in like big old bold letters on a hard drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, these are. I don't actually.
In my first server, I had the SAS controller, but I didn't have any like backplane for the drives, so I just kind of had a bunch of SATA drives that connected into the motherboard directly, and it was really janky. And then when I finally sold another organ, then I bought some other stuff, and then now it's got actual using hot swap trays. So
yeah, you're not an official home labber unless you're using an LSI HBA card with
I got loads.
eight breakout ports for your hard drives.
I still blame craft computing for my server situation, if I'm honest with you. So
yeah,
so
that's fair.
Yeah.
God. I'm dying.
Don't die on stream. They will be on the internet forever, you know.
Hey, content. Anything for content, baby.
Yeah.
Guy says, I'm a fan from Egypt. Learning a lot from your channel. My question is it possible to use Omada modem with Deco X75 Pros and Access Point Y? I have the Deco already, but I need the Omada software features. No, you can, but you're not going to get all the benefits of running Omada. Omada requires Omada certified switches, firewalls, and access points to be able to hook into your controller and be able to control everything. Now, you can plug in your Deco to an Omada switch, and it'll work. You'll get you'll be able to connect to them.
Yeah.
But you just won't be able to manage it inside of Omada. You'll have to go directly to the Deco GUI and manage it through there, which for a long time I ran Unify stuff with a PFSense firewall. So I managed my PFSense firewall and then my Unify equipment on 2 separate interfaces, which is doable. It wasn't bad. I mean, honestly, how often are you messing with your mesh access points? You set them up once and it's kind of it.
Basically,
yeah. So it's doable. I wouldn't say don't do it, but if you have the opportunity to go with dedicated Omada gear, I mean, that's kind of why you dive into a solution like that anyway, but it's possible. Let's see. Oh man, I'm way behind here. I gotta scroll.
An active chat. So
yeah, let me we shouldn't get buffering. Is anybody else buffering on the stream? I'm gonna kill
that. It doesn't
that.
Seem like it. So it doesn't seem like it. Just
okay, I'm just gonna kill that.
So
I'm gonna stop that stream. I mean, I have gig up, so that shouldn't be doing anything, but TerraMaster video, John Mutton asks, what do you want to know? Oh, are you saying TerraMaster video, the one where I messed up and used the SAS drives? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're right. That was it.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen you. Haven't seen. I don't think I've watched that. No, I think I might have actually. Yeah, actually, I think I
The
watched
funny
that one.
thing with TerraMaster is they sent me their NAS, and the hardware of it was fine. Their
But the
software is
software, right?
just, yeah, absolute butt cheeks. Like, it is
Yeah.
awful. And I
Yeah.
basically said, like, in the video, I'm like, yeah, it's decent hardware, but their software is freaking awful. So if you want to get one, cool, just install something else on it. And then they contacted me. I saw them pop up in my inbox again. And I was like, oh, shit. And they're like, yeah, they actually coughed in the email. They were like, hey, man, saw your video. Can we send you another one of our products? I was like, um, what? You want to send me another one? Okay.
They
But
might
they
be
sent me their
masochists.
their DAS, their direct attached storage setup, which is a lot better because there's no software involved. You can run your own. But yeah. What so this was something we were talking about. I guess we'll use this opportunity to hop into a different topic, a not so smooth transition, but we were talking about this before the stream started. Power efficiency is a huge, I get that on like every video I make. If I don't include how much power what I'm covering is using, people are like, bro, why didn't you tell us how much power? I need to know this,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, because we were talking about before, the price of electricity isn't insignificant in a lot of places. So you looked up how much you're paying for electricity
Yeah.
before. You want to share that with
It
the
was
chat?
like I don't know 67 so probably like 45 cents maybe.
45 cents per
No,
kilowatt
no, no,
hour.
no. Sorry, no, no, no. Hold on. Let me just think about that. I just remember now because now I need to think because that's. I don't
So
think it's actually that much. Actually, I need to double check that
in the
because
States, they provide you with like a sheet when you sign up that tells you basically all the
yeah,
rules of
we
your
have
rate.
also, but I'm trying to think because I converted that wrong because the Swedish crown is not as strong as it was.
Hey,
So now
everyone in the chat, you're not safe from this. Post where you are geographically and how much you pay for electricity. You have to do it. That's the rule.
that is
So
the
I'll go
rule.
first. I'm in Texas, and I pay 16 cents per kilowatt hour, which is high for where I'm at, but I'm on a solar specific plan because we had solar panels installed. So I get like
Oh
one to
no.
one buyback. But
Okay, now I found mine. Okay, so I
all right.
pay $0.06. So I guess that's 6 cents.
6 cents.
Yeah.
Well, what is that?
So
Is that in American? What is that in?
that's like real American dollars, good old
Oh,
freedom
six
dollars. You know.
cents. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah,
That's literally nothing.
yeah. And that so I pay $4 or $5 a month for like a kind of a contract, and then I pay 0.6 cents. So like 6 cents for per kilowatt hour.
Yeah,
So
that's nothing.
yeah,
That's free. That's basically free electricity.
but also remember, um, like I told you before the stream starts, we don't pay for heating either, which is electric. So it's
That's
only really
right.
consumption electric. So it's not really that much. I think my electric bill in total, because I've got the lab and everything, it's probably like not more than $40-$50 a month. I would think for the entire month.
Shit.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's nutty. Oh, look at Mr. Albert over here included in my rent. So, Albert, where are you and can I run a extension cord to your house? It's just a simple question. I'm gonna need you to answer that. There's no reason I'm asking, just curious. Because that is cheat codes. um,
let's see.
yeah, here you go. So 12.4 cents per kilowatt hour. I think that's what we were paying on our old plan
That's a lot.
in Virginia. So yeah, that's
Mind you,
pretty average, I think, around the
not that long
states.
ago, at the start of the Russian-Ukraine war, like my electric bill went crazy, like crazy high. Like I think my normal average bill was like say $50 a month, and it
Yeah,
went up to like I think it went up to like 200 at one point,
shit.
and it was like $200 one month. It was like, oh my god, this is insane. The government paid us back for it still, but like
Yeah,
later, but still it was there. There was about 3 or 4 months of that. That wasn't fun. So
yeah. before I got the solar panels installed. We had 1 month that was, I think, like $480. So yeah, it was rough. It was brutal. Holy crap. $3.27 per that is insane.
That's a lot, man. That's a
Is
lot.
that real? NH. What is that? Not New Hampshire.
No,
That's got to be a different.
I
That's got to be a different country, right?
know. I'm hoping a different planet, if I'm honest. New
Dude,
Hampshire. Oh my god, that's bad times.
I hope you put a decimal in the wrong spot because,
Yeah.
dude, nah, there's no way you're paying $3.27 a kilowatt hour. That's like
I know that some places in the States, like
bonkers.
I know like some of you guys pay like ridiculous internet costs in like rural areas. Like the internet can be like $100+ a month. It's like,
Oh,
what?
$100 a month is normal for internet here.
That's craziness. I can't believe I
America,
pay.
baby.
Oh my god! Like
America.
I have by standards here in Sweden probably the best internet provider, which has no restrictions and stuff like that, privacy based, all that kind of stuff. So I'm paying a premium there, and I think I pay. How much am I paying in dollars for that one? Maybe $80, but it's like, 1 gig. No, 10 up and 10 down, 10 gig. So I
10
mean,
gig?
yeah, but it's like ban off, man. There's this company here. They're like super aggressive, with pricing and privacy controls and stuff. They have a lot of customers. So I think also they know that I'm on YouTube and Twitter. I think they gave me like private IP addresses and stuff, probably public IP addresses for free. So that
Yeah.
was kind of nice. So
35 cents New Zealand dollar, I assume, per kilowatt hour. Y'all are gonna have to convert this to American currency. I'm not
let's
I
see.
can't just do that in my head.
What's that? Which one are you looking at? The New
28.078 pence.
pence.
What? That's
I
like
mean, that's like about. But it's actually, to be honest, it's fairly similar to the dollar. So it's
so
like
roughly
30
28
cents.
cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah, I would say
That's
so.
that's not
It's
terrible.
probably about 35 cents, I reckon. So
Yeah, I pay 80 for gig up and down, so I'm in line with you guys. Yeah, everyone posting their stats. We got Foxy says, "Let's go, dude!" Just
yeah,
cheering
that's
on
actually Foxy.
everyone's
Foxy's
spending money.
actually my student in my third year. Actually,
Oh yeah,
he's one
I
of my
thought I thought
students.
they were
Yeah.
just in here cheering on everyone spending money. It's
So
like, "Let's go, dude! Y'all are paying for electricity and internet.
oh
Let's
no.
go, hype! We out
Oh
here."
dear. Yeah, could
Skull,
be.
what is up, my dude? Welcome to the live stream. I'm holding on. I haven't died yet. I've
No,
come
don't die.
close.
Don't die on me, man. Mind you, if your last stream was with me, then I'll consider it like an honor. Death by live stream with Robert.
Dude,
That's
that would
like,
make so many headlines if I just died live on stream. So you get hella views.
I would get hella views. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want that though. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
and
It's we would miss you. It wouldn't be good.
yeah, I don't think
So,
it would
no, no,
really
no.
be worth it in the
It might be
long
like a
run.
bad omen. No one would ever speak to me again. They would just that would be it.
Yep, hop on
So
a live stream, kill the
yeah,
streamer.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty I guess this is a good opportunity to dive into our next topic that we that we put. Is 1 gig networking enough anymore?
No,
Hot topic.
no.
No.
Dude,
Oh,
I
explain.
like, okay, right. So when I'm editing videos now, none of the files are on my desktop anymore. They're all on my server, and that's connected 10 gig from my desktop to the server. So now I just dump it all on there and edit live from there. But when I was transferring files, you know how the big file, and I've got way less cameras than you. So surely you cannot be transferring all your video files over 1 gig. I swear to God, I will kill you. You
Yeah.
cannot be transferring files on your TrueNAS box with 1 gig.
Yeah. No, I run 10 gig to most
Yes,
everything, and
of course
then
you do. Yes.
oh yeah, but I run 40 gig from my TrueNAS server to my main editing machine. So
Yeah, that's the way. I mean, yeah.
so I'd say depending on who you are,
Yeah.
it can definitely be enough.
For us, 10 gig necessary as creators, and stuff like that for sure. But for local network, 1 gig is fine. Even for streaming media, Plesk and Jellyfin and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so when you're building out your network, yeah, you have to talk about what your use cases are. Cause like if you're just setting up like a backup server, you buy like an off the shelf Synology NAS or
Mm,
TerraMaster or whatever, and you're just looking to backup files. Most people are just gonna buy like a 4 bay, a 2 bay, throw their hard drives in there, plug it in, and good to go. And realistically, what's like the max speed you're gonna be getting on a hard drive array, depending on
yeah, you probably
if you're
bottleneck
running
on the
like
CPU
RAID 1
anyway.
or RAID 5 or whatever. You're getting like what max 200.
Yeah, a lot of those consumer like NASs, they got really pants CPUs in them also, so they bottleneck the CPU anyway. So
Yeah, so 1 gig's roughly like 120 megabit per second or megabytes per second. Um, and yeah, your hard drive array is probably gonna get around 200.
yeah,
You have caching and a fancy setup. If you run ZFS and you got a lot of caching going on, then yeah, you can get higher
if,
speeds. But
if you're going for that, you probably got the capacity to go to 10 gig anyway, or 2.5 at least.
right, and that's the
So
thing because when you ask people, is 1 gig enough anymore? If they know what you're talking about and where you're going with that, the answer for them is probably no.
yeah,
And a lot of people in this chat are probably saying no
yeah,
because yeah, I mean, so 2.5 gig is a minimum. 2.5 gig has become way more available and affordable in the
it's
last few years,
it's
especially.
actually weird. I don't see it that often here.
Really, I
No,
feel
really.
like
Like for
everything's
me,
been
it's everything was one, and then there was a few 2.5s drifting around, like motherboards and stuff. But
yeah,
like my motherboard, like I want to say it's consumer motherboard. I mean, it's a pretty high end one, but it's got a 10 gig port built into it, right?
yeah,
But like when I'm shopping for parts for the school, for example, for the program, like it's either 1 gig and then there's like very few 2.5s and everything is 10.
yeah.
I don't see 2.5 that much anymore.
So I'd say, yeah, like 1 gig. Obviously, people are getting to a point to where they want more than 1 gig. 2.5 is a good. I think it is getting more popular. It hasn't really hit that mainstream where everything's 2.5, but I do
Yeah,
see in more mid to upper range motherboards, they're coming
yeah.
standard with 2.5 gig ports. A lot more switches that are coming out from these networking companies are implementing
MicroTik
2.5.
MicroTik
So
have a few of those. Actually, the little server I built has 2.5. It's a little micro server, and that's got a small gigabyte board on. I think it's 2.5 gig. So
yeah, it's and I mean, yeah, the difference between 1 gig and if you're talking about like file transfer,
yeah,
you're looking at like 120 megabytes per second compared to like almost 300 megabytes per
yeah,
second. So significant increase if you have the hardware to back it up. And then you jump into 5 gig isn't really a thing. It
nah.
almost was, but then no one has 5 gig stuff now.
Everyone jumped to 10.
Yeah, so 10 gigs kind of the sweet spot for home labs because I think we're starting to see more affordable.
The price isn't that much now. I mean, you can pick up some pretty good price 10 gig stuff now. Even
Sup-
second, but even new, but just secondhand stuff is pretty cheap. Also,
Surprisingly, I think Unify has one of the best
yeah.
10 gig switches. The 4 port Flex XG. It's $300 for 10 gig ports. RJ45.
To be honest, I think some of their equipment is actually really, really aggressively priced. Like if you look at
Yeah,
the
I mean
UDM Pro, I mean that's like what, like $400, something like that. Like
UDM
for
Pro. The
yeah,
UDM
that's what.
Pro is like 250, I think.
When I first bought it when it first came out,
Oh, okay.
but I would say the UDM Pro SE, for example.
Oh yeah, that C's like 400, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like you're talking like $400 for like a catch-all, like for a firewall and a switch, a PoE, everything in one thing. That's a really aggressive price, you know. I
So,
think it is. So
is having a network rack and 10 loud ass servers in your living room a red flag for potential uh, mates?
no, for me
Um,
that's a plus.
depends on
So
who they are,
well, I'll put it
and
this way: my rack is in the room which I sleep in. It's actually this shared studio room we have, like me and my wife, and she likes the rack. So
it's like
and
a white noise type thing.
well, it's like, well, I can have it here so long as it provides services. So we've got Jellyfin for streaming Linux ISOs. We've got
Yeah,
like Kavita on there. Nextcloud, Obsidian, which she lives on. So like stuff like that. So yeah. So we have all those running in there, but it's actually really quiet. If you take all the server fans out, that's my recommendation for any servers, to take out the server fans that they come with, Delta ones, and put Noctua ones in there, and keep that stuff quiet, because those Delta fans are like harpies. So
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what hardware you're running, but for the most part, you don't need those Delta fans unless you're cranking those 1U servers full throttle. Um, but yeah, so on the topic of Unify, we where to go? Where to go? Let me pull up my.
I mean, you said you're running pfSense and Unify together.
Used to.
I used to. Okay, that's
Um,
interesting.
I thought I had it up. I guess not. Let me log
So
in.
what's your main thing now? Unify or pfSense?
Unify. I'm
Yeah.
running
Okay. Yeah.
UDM Pro.
Yeah. It's solid device.
I'll show you my favorite feature of the new Unify upgrade. Let's see. Go here, here, wait, here. Then we hit this guy. And then we hit. Okay, yeah. This is the coolest feature ever. Let me make sure my IP isn't showing. All right, we're good. Okay, yeah. I love this feature. The live network traffic view of your network is the coolest shit ever.
Yeah. To be honest, the way you can map stuff. Have you used the AR feature also? It's been in there for a while.
I haven't. I've
But
seen it, but
it's good. It's very useful. It's surprising. But you know what my best feature of Unify is, of Ubiquity? It's actually not anything in the OS. Have you ever used Unify support?
no.
Dude, it is insane, right? So I got, because we've got a UDM Pro in the school, right?
Yeah.
We're not a corporate customer. Like, I just bought the UDM Pro and then just put it in, right? So it's not like I subscribe or nothing like that, because I don't have it. So I put the UDM Pro in, and a few weeks ago it started to bug out with some config upgrade, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I asked them. They said, "Oh, we're not sure. We'll elevate this up." And literally the next day, they booked in someone from the States, live, like screen share with them, and they went in and did with me in the terminal, and did it like over screen share, like directly. I paid nothing for it because I already own the device. It's like, when you need support, those guys are there, man. It's an insane. Cisco would have absolutely bent you over a table for that, you know. So
Yeah.
it's, and
Yeah,
we
that
have
is pretty
Cisco
impressive.
switches, so yeah.
Yeah, I've
But
I've been relatively happy with Unify. I think their firewall leaves a lot to be desired, or like their firewall rules
the rules
um,
are
are a
weird.
hot mess. I hate it,
They
but
are, yeah.
something that can easily be fixed in software updates. I'm just hoping that they do it.
So I do like the way
I
that it
like the
looks,
AP
though.
density. Yeah, the AP
Yeah,
density. They added a new Wi-Fi Insights page, which is pretty cool. I
someone
mean,
said there in the chat about the replacing the fans also with the server fans with Noctua. It's not recommended to do it. It's just, put it this way, like I did
yeah,
it in one of my servers, and the thing is, I've got a super micro board, which, it's like, okay, it expects a certain standard of equipment in there. Noctua fans are not server grade equipment, but it kept complaining about fan speed. It's like, hey, this fan speed is too low. So I put in a script to tell it like it's fine. And the thing is, the temps in the are fine. However, you should probably, if you do replace the fans, you should be a little careful with that. So long as that it seems like it's fine, then you should be okay with the temps. But if you know, like, it's a really warm, like some summers, Sweden is like practically on fire. So then we have to watch out for like the temperatures. Then I maybe crank them up a little bit. But I mean, you can replace them, but certain motherboards will moan about it. TrueNAS
Yeah, it's
specificated.
definitely not a catch-all. It's not like, "Oh, my server's
No,
loud. Let me throw in a knock to a fan and just go about my day."
yeah, that's not going to work. Yeah,
Just
the
check
Delta
the
fans are faster for a reason.
Yeah, it depends on your form factor and with the
Yeah,
TDP of your processors and how much load you're putting on it and whatnot. Like, if you're for the most part, your system's at idle, you're running a relatively low power CPU, probably get away with it, but it's not like, yeah, fully recommend to just replace all your fans with an Octua. But
so I built a custom server for the TrueNAS specifically. It's a 4U chassis, super micro board, AMD EPIC, and then I just put like I think it's 3 front fans and 2 on the back, and then I replaced the CPU fans also, and I run them all full belt, but because they're Noctua ones, they're super quiet, and the airflow is. I want to say it's not perfect, but it's definitely like within spec, you know.
yeah,
So
that's you just have to monitor it.
yeah,
DRV Crash says, with over 250 devices, the live traffic screen pukes on me. Yeah, it's definitely not perfect yet. When I was doing it, I mean, I noticed when I'm trying to run it, it jumps between, like, it's not super consistent. If I
yeah.
run
This
it,
screen, that screen there, this is a real bad way of like the way that it just like yeah, it's zoomed out and it's like top to
yeah, and
bottom. I
like
feel like they could be better with that probably.
it'll show this, and then it'll like switch randomly and be like, oh yeah, we forgot you're actually running some traffic up here, or you're
Yeah,
running more down here. So it's not perfect, but at a high level view, it is really cool like that. It just kicked in like, oh yeah, but it is cool at like a high level, just see where a lot of your traffic is going, so you
yeah.
can see
Well,
where a
it
lot of mine's
helps. You know,
going
it's one
to.
of those diagnostic things. Like, how often do you really go in here? Not that much, but if you do, it's a quick way of getting in to see what's happening. Same with the AR thing. So
Yeah,
you
I
know,
just go
you
in here
can
for the
quickly look.
vibes. I like how it looks. Like,
I think.
ooh,
I mean, remember, like Ubiquity are former Cisco people, so like they're trying to do something new. So they're kind of upstarts. So they are doing these kind of features, and some of them are like, oh, these features are toys, but these toys are nice to play with also, you know. So
yeah.
I like also, you know.
I've been relatively happy with my switch to full on Unify. There
Yeah.
are some things about PFSense that I miss.
Mm,
I really liked with PFSense being able to run my reverse proxy directly on the firewall itself. So you can
yeah.
spin up HA proxy directly in PFSense, and it's pretty neat.
Mm,
So now I'm running Nginx Proxy Manager in Docker, which I mean it works. I just liked it directly on my network or on my firewall. Um, but overall, I think it's fine. There are some key things I mentioned in my video about switching to Unify that they really need to fix.
yeah.
Their inability to set for port forwarding rules. You
Yeah.
can't set an IP group for that. So a lot of people who run a reverse proxy on their system and run through Cloudflare, um, typically you'd want your firewall to only allow connections coming in on 443 from Cloudflare's IPs. You can't do that in
No.
Unify. I've read a bunch of
There's
forum
some
posts that
janky
say, "Oh,
ways.
you can actually do this if you order these rules in these specific ways." And I've tried all different
Yeah.
combinations; it hasn't worked. So,
Or open up the CLI on the Unify switch. That's
yeah,
just you don't want to be doing that either. So
I mean, it's not even difficult. They have it in other places too. So
yeah.
it's like, why?
I
I don't
think
want to dive into that. Anyways.
The Unify Edge routers can do that. I think, but not the normal ones, not the UDM Pros and stuff like that. I do
That's
miss some of that stuff. Also, I used to have uh, like a Zixtel firewall and then a MikroTik firewall, but now I switched to UDM one, and I feel like when you weigh up, it's for me, it's been a net positive, like to switch over. You know,
I,
like there's a few areas I would like to change, like you mentioned, but generally I'm pretty happy with it.
I'd say it's been a net neutral. The
Mm.
PF Sense to Unify switch. Unify for some reason handles dual WAN setups a lot better than PF Sense. Don't know why. PF Sense would have so many issues didn't matter what settings I put, if it like to kill states, to not kill states, to only switch on latency, to only switch when there was a full on no WAN traffic from my primary WAN. No matter what I did, it was very slow, very clunky. Sometimes it wouldn't happen for some reason. But Unify actually got to test it out a lot when our backyard was being dug up and they were hitting our network line like every week. So we got to test that out a lot, and it worked really, really well. So I mean that was pretty good. The tie-in with all of your downstream stuff, like having your firewall directly tie in with everything, is nice.
Yeah,
pfSense doesn't do that. It's just a
a
firewall. It's not like
lot a
they
lot
have.
of stuff doesn't do that.
Yeah,
It's we have a
you have
bunch of
Amada,
Cisco
you
stuff.
have Unify, you have. I've tested out some ingenious stuff.
Mhm.
Who else? What's sort of
I've
big?
tried TP-Link and Aces kind of version of it, but it sucks. So it's not really great. So
Yeah, it's. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, these have
yeah,
become pretty popular. These all-in-one like SDN solutions where you have one interface, and it kind of puts you in the middle of a home user and a full-fledged, network
yeah,
engineer for a company who is still running Cisco systems and diving into the CLI to make changes to their network system. For these SDNs, you don't have to do any of that. You
no,
go into one
exactly, yeah.
location and you can change all types of
I
shit.
mean, we have a mix of stuff. We have uh, like in the lab at work, right? We have like more than 100 servers there. We have 7 Cisco switches, like big Nexus ones, and then we have a Unify stuff. So the Unify stuff manages the firewall and the VLANs and everything. The Cisco switches handle all the throughput, because every time we wanted to make a change, I'd have to modify every single switch, and there is no way to do that where you can pass rules from one switch to another on Nexus. So you have to go to each switch to change everything, and that's really annoying, and takes a lot more time.
Yeah. Yeah. So death. Unknown entity else. Why do people commonly say not to combine pfSense with Unify gear in a network? Because I think when you say you're running Unify or Ubiquity, the idea is that you're running it from the firewall level all the way down to level 2 or layer 2, layer 3
Yeah,
devices, switches, access points, all of that being combined, being able to be managed from
yeah,
one dedicated location.
yeah.
Um,
One
you
controller.
can run it. Like I said, I ran pfSense and Unify equipment for over a year. I just had to, you know, you
The
have
thing
to
is,
know
if
what
you,
you're kind of doing.
yeah, thing is, like I say, you can, but kind of why? It's like you're not really getting, unless you like want to learn PF Sense and you've got like a separate segmented part of your network and you want to learn it, but it seems like double work, because I mean you have to. I mean you could just, I guess you could get the Unify switch to just go, hey look, use the firewall rules from this, but it starts to get a little bit like convoluted. So
Yeah.
I think it's
And I
not worth
know
the game.
I've actually talked to Tom Lawrence about this a good bit. He's a big pfSense user
Yeah.
and he's also worked with Unify gear. And he says when he deploys equipment for some businesses that he gets contracted for, if he deploys a Unify system, a lot of times, if it's a big one, he'll deploy Unify switches and access points and then use a pfSense firewall. Just because
Yeah.
if you're looking for larger enterprise features, pfSense comes bundled with a lot more useful stuff
Yeah.
than Unify does out of the box. So I get that. But for the average home lab user, a
I
lot
would
of people
say
can get by with
SMB,
Unify.
like small medium business, also I think could get away with Ubiquity pretty well.
No, I think it's
But
great for businesses and stuff.
enterprise is where Ubiquity is not really, it's not really their space
And
on
it's
that level
annoying
in it.
because a lot of their stuff is like has enterprise in the title. Like a lot
Yeah.
of switches enterprise. I'm like, well, you're missing a lot of enterprise features, but
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah. Next thing I wanted to discuss that kind of follows up on a trend I've been seeing a lot lately. Talk
Yeah,
about high availability in your home lab. And I bring this up because I've seen a very big um, insurgence of people who are using mini PCs
yes,
as servers in their home lab, which I think is a really good idea.
yeah,
They are usually affordable, they are compact. Depending on what you get, they can be low power, and they've gotten to a point to where they're honestly pretty powerful
yeah,
for their size. This isn't like 5, 10 years ago where if you got a mini PC, it was stuck on the back of a hospital monitor running
yeah.
some dated software that
Really
it could
bad.
barely run.
Yeah, Chrome
So
OS.
I've seen a lot of people just start setting up and diving into high availability stuff with mini PCs, and I think it's a fantastic idea. But then it
Yeah.
begs the question: is it even necessary? I'll let you
I
dive into
mean,
that.
I mean, I think it's necessary if you're running services in your home lab that you're using for production in a way. I know that home lab is for learning, but we're let's be honest, we're using it for more than just learning. We're using it because we're using it. So
Yeah,
I feel like, put it this way, if my container server drops, then all my containers drop. I don't have another server for it to take over. So I've been looking at this right now. I'm thinking about high availability, hence the micro server, Podman, so on. So I'm looking at it. So I think yes, if you're doing production, if you're relying on it. I mean, the mini PC method is like, or Intel NUCs, Raspberry Pis, Zima boards. Those look pretty cool. Like, you just got one of those, I know. So like, I think so. But on mini PCs, they work really well. So
yeah. It's it's another one of those. Like it depends because everyone's use case is different.
yeah,
I run I run a high availability Proxmox cluster in my home lab. Is it necessary?
Zima boards, right?
Absolutely not.
It's the Zima boards one.
No, actually, okay, I actually have two. My Zima board one is right here, but then I have a full fat Xeon 3 node system in my
Small
rack.
PCs, Lenovo ones, and those small Dell ones. Those are great if you can get them secondhand
Yeah,
for
I'm
like.
running some like I put them together myself, but they're all one use systems. So I have three of them stacked, and
Mm,
they're pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with them. They run under 100 watts each. Again, I don't need HA. It's so unnecessary. I did it for mostly learning,
yeah,
setting up a Ceph cluster. So it's cool. um, is it necessary? I don't think so. But if you're getting into Kubernetes, that's one of the big features of Kubernetes, right? Is
yeah.
high availability and scalability. So, um, oh
It's
shit,
kind of
Jose
it's kind of
Altuve just hit a home run in the top of the ninth. Astros are up 5-4. Let's go. Okay, I know that doesn't mean anything to a lot of people in here, but
no.
that's crazy. Okay. Um, but yeah, I think it's cool to learn on, especially if you're learning Kubernetes. It's one of the big reasons why you do it. But yeah, it's up to you if you if you actually need it or not. So
See, for my case, it's kind of like I need to teach it, so I need to also learn it. So I'm actually looking at this right now, looking at this kind of mini PC setup for Kubernetes. That's kind of where I might go. I'm looking at the Intel NUCs or the kind of those compute modules, something like that. Raspberry Pis, maybe Zimmer boards if I could get hold of them, because they look pretty beefy. But I know I can get secondhand mini PCs pretty cheap also.
yeah.
So,
And
but
yeah, I'm up to 3 Lenovo small PC clusters, 2 Lenovo Tinies, and 1 SFF. Yeah, Lenovo and like those small Dell systems are fantastic for that. And
yeah,
I will say, just because you run a cluster doesn't mean you have to run high availability. You can spin up a Proxmox cluster with multiple systems and not have to worry about shared storage, shared resources, high availability mode, and all that stuff. You can set it up and just say, okay, I'm taking down server 1, which Guy talks about. HA is nice to have when you upgrade nodes, but technically with HA, you can, and Proxmox, you can just migrate VMs and all your services manually to another node, update, reboot that node. Once it's back on, move everything back. And
I
if
would
you don't care about
say,
doing it manually,
like at a minimum, I guess, like if you're learning also, like if you are learning and using stuff for production. So I've got 2 main servers really in practice. My main one, which is running next TrueNAS scale, which has the Docker built in. Then a micro server, which is running Podman. And as I'm learning Podman and Kubernetes on that, I migrate stuff over, but I'm not ready to move my production stuff to it until like I'm stable with it, but still would keep it backed up on the other one. So it's not really a HA setup, but it's kind of like, don't just like apt upgrade your freaking server and not have like a backup or something like that. So that's kind of having
yeah.
a backup of some kind.
Yeah, it's something cool to get into, but I'd say for most people in their home lab, if their server goes down, their containers go down, it's not the end of the world unless you're like operating something super important for a lot of people. So for that reason, HA I wouldn't say is necessary, but it is cool. I will give you that.
Is that Thomas from
Oh
Berlin?
no, look who's in.
Yeah,
Tomas. Howdy from Berlin. Is that actually Tomas? I can't tell from his
it might
picture.
be. Yeah.
He
Did he
wasn't from
write?
Berlin though, right? He was,
No, that's true. No. So
unless he just went back.
he only speaks to us via Berlin. Oh, it is him apparently.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah, I think he says he thinks it's him. We think it's
I
him.
think it is me. Are you? Yeah,
Collectively,
okay.
collectively, we have enough think to assume that it's him. So we can just say yes.
I can't
So
tell from the picture of you looking super cool on your motorcycle.
motorbike, scooter. Yeah, yeah. So
Welcome, my man. We were just
yes.
talking about HA setups, and I've
How
been
does he check?
through.
How did we check that it's him?
How do I check? Oh, do we not?
Yeah.
What was your talk about at the Nextcloud conference? Tell us right now. You have 10 seconds,
If
or
he says
else
what if he says what next cloud conference, then we know it's not him.
we're giving them too much information. You have 10 seconds, or else
Backup
we
restore.
confirm
I
this
think
now.
it's
You,
him. Backup
yeah,
restore. Was
yeah,
that him?
yeah.
Yeah. That's right. So
Well,
hello,
welcome.
Thomas. Yes, hello. It's
Yeah,
good to, I want to say see you again, but I mean, read
yeah.
your text, read your brain thoughts on a screen. That's also good.
I like what Guy says here.
Yeah.
HA, the application layer, is more interesting than HA VMs and Proxmox. I agree. Running
Yeah.
something like Doc. So my system technically runs. I run a high availability Proxmox cluster on 3 nodes, and then a high availability Kubernetes cluster inside of that. So I have high availability at the application layer with Kubernetes, but if servers break physically, they can be moved to a new physical server.
Yeah.
In the event that something goes down. So it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And depending on how you want to run that, I mean, you don't have to do it that way, but again, I do a lot of shit that I don't need
I
because
mean,
it's
that's kind of the
fun.
point, right? It's fun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've done it before. Thomas just mentioned about I've done that. I've done that literally a few weeks ago. I restarted my server, which was running Pi-hole, and that was my internal DNS, and then nothing worked. The whole
You
internet
need,
and Unify was its DNS server
yeah.
was the Pi, and oh my god, it was such
You
a
gotta switch to public DNS, bring down Pi-hole,
that was
and
so bad.
then
I was like, oh my god, like what the hell happened? Some huge catastrophic problem, and then like I said earlier, it's always DNS, always.
it's
So
always, dude.
yeah,
After you've successfully confirmed that it's not DNS, just ignore that because you're
yeah,
wrong
yeah,
because it is
basically, yeah.
DNS.
That's why I'm looking at this extra, like either a mini PC or a Raspberry Pi or something to run as a separate Pi-hole. I need something physically separate because I'm going to be like a dunce and I'm going to end up restarting my server with Pi-hole again. So
Yeah. You just gotta run like 7 different Pi-hole instances, and just so
could you run it
you
on a
can never be too
Pi-hole
sure.
0? Could it run on a 0?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably, right? So
Yeah, 0 too. I think it's think it's beefy enough.
Something small like that. So
Yeah, I
secondhand.
think.
I mean, just something like that, basically. So
Yeah. Provision with Ansible. Yeah, there you go. Unless you're actually trying to learn, then
yeah,
do it the old fashioned way, like I did back in the day, walking uphill in the snow,
on
10
fire
miles
also.
both
Yeah,
ways.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're
So
going to learn to swim, jump in the deep end first, and then
exactly.
just hope for the
Yeah.
best.
No
So
floaties.
yeah, man. So
Um, yeah, I've been thinking of doing the same with Pi-hole. Yeah. High availability Pi-hole is something, especially if it's your primary DNS server, probably worth looking into.
yeah, I think so. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, Peter confirms his Pi-hole's running on a 02W.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Peter. Well, I'll have a
Is it
look into
running
that.
over Wi-Fi though? With that W, is that are you bold enough to run it over Wi-Fi?
He's got multiple motorbikes. I'm going to say he's bold enough.
Yeah.
So
Brandon said he moved from Kubernetes to Proxmox HA. I'd say it's
Ethernet. Okay.
more user friendly to run high availability in Proxmox,
Oh yeah.
but
Everything is more user friendly. Being stabbed is more user friendly than running Kubernetes. Like
yeah, I mean being
high
stabbed is
availability.
easy, dude. You just kind of
Yeah, yeah,
stand there and get stabbed.
yeah. Basically, yeah.
Anyone can
So
do that.
yeah,
Freaking Kubernetes is a biatch, dude.
yeah.
That's
It really is, man. It really is. So,
it's
and it's
it
one of those jokes, but it is. It just is.
yeah,
So
once you get it set up, it's so cool. But the second something breaks and you're having to dive into logs and wonder why one container's dropped, like storage, and if you're running Rancher with what's the high availability storage?
stuff. Yeah.
No, the one that K3S comes past from the Rancher people.
Longhorn.
Longhorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. If one of those breaks, you're like, shit, dude, what's going on? But yeah, it's fickle. But yeah, Longhorn, thank you guys.
I'm
But
gonna
once
I'm
you get
gonna
it running,
try
it's
it.
pretty
So
pretty freaking cool.
I'm gonna try it once I got a few days off. Not next week, but the week after. I have a few days off. I think I'm gonna spend my free time doing Kubernetes for some reason. I don't know why. I'm a
That's some
masochist. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm.
some masochist stuff right
Yeah.
there, dude.
So I don't know. So
One thing I
Dreamcatcher.
want to dive into here is a hot topic we discussed earlier. Who out there is actually using AI in their not daily lives, but maybe occasionally, and actually using it, not just opening up Chat GPT to generate
Yeah.
memes or
Every day.
do some funny stuff. Like,
Every day,
what
man.
are you though?
No, every day.
You're,
ChatGPT
really?
for me is a tab that's open every day.
Like, so what's some of the basic stuff you use it for?
I mean, I would ask it to when I get students to send in like say code for projects, for example, I will put their code into ChatGPT and ask them if it follows certain standards that I'm looking for, rather than reading through it completely. I can have it pick and do it much quicker than me. Or I might ask it to. Sometimes I'm writing complicated material in English, but Swedish is like some of the stuff I teach one of the other groups, which is my third language. So then I ask ChatGPT to write it, but in not just Swedish, but in following Swedish installation standards, also for say electrical stuff and things like that. Also, so it's just every day I'm using it to either assist me with something or to help me with certain material. So I don't even Google anymore. I don't even Google like, oh, how do I find this problem? I just ask ChatGPT and go, how do I do this thing? And then it tells me. It's so much quicker than Googling now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it
for me,
is like
so
a.
every day.
I've used it once. That's it. I was There's a very specific scenario where I had this issue where when I record stuff to my recording device, it gives it a naming pattern that gets reset when I move the files off. So if I record like 5 things, I move it to my server, then I record some more and try to move it over. It's like, oh, this file already exists. So I wanted a script that I could just run and it'll rename all the files in that directory with appending the current
Yeah.
timestamp. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't use like scripting enough to just knock this out. And I've heard ChatGPT is decent at writing scripts. So I told it, write me a script that can rename a file, every file in a directory, by appending a timestamp. And it just spit it out. I was like, holy crap, this is cool.
Yeah, it is.
So I can see why people use it. I saw Tomas say, where did he say? Haha, I've been trying to set up local AI for Nextcloud and VS Code generation and is an absolute pain. You missed the beginning of the stream.
Yeah.
I actually have that set up. So
Your boy Radar has set up local AI and tried to
yeah, we got
demonstrate
a
it live, and it was being a bit slow because he's demonstrating it live. That's the rules.
yeah, we
So
got a local AI instance set up that's hooked into my Nextcloud instance. And I'm running the koala model, which I felt is good. I didn't really understand the difference between all these language processing models. And then I tried a few, and some of them are so freaking weird. Like some of them like just straight up gave me responses in like old English style. Some gave me like rude answers. Some gave me like super long drawn out answers. I'm like, huh. I guess that is the difference of why they have all these different models. You can choose from the one you like, but holy moly. Yeah, I have it set up and it works, but I only have CPUs for inference. So yeah, I'm using a model that uses CUDA, and I have a GPU in there that successfully runs, and it's decently fast. But for some reason, Nextcloud takes forever to call the API. Don't know why. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's Nextcloud.
I think you should we'll call up some of the peeps there and ask them. So
Yeah, why is my shit so slow?
yeah, hey, fix. So
Fix my stuff.
I mean, they're not. I was going to say they're not that far.
Let's
from being
go.
completed. So
Astros won, baby. Let's go. Is Trey in here? I think Trey's a Rangers fan. Get out of here.
I
Get
think
out
he
of here.
already
Trey,
left.
are you still in here? That's
I don't know
right.
if he,
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, yeah.
don't die on me. Don't die on me, Rick. Don't die.
Oh,
Don't
I'm
die,
dying.
man. Don't die.
I'm dying. Oh God. Do you think my 10-year-old AMD GPU will run AI all right? If you physically take it out of your server and use it to type on your keyboard into Chat GPT, I
Yeah.
think it'll run
I
AI
think
pretty decently.
at that point, a 10-year-old GPU would be fine for just media converting, probably in a desk server or something. Jellyfin.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend that I know all the intricacies of GPU acceleration for AI.
No.
Like I'm some kind of expert at all.
No.
So it
We
very well
are.
could be useful. I was memeing there, but yeah,
I
I
would
don't
say,
know.
yeah.
I
But I
looked up
mean,
what model supported CUDA. I threw in
yeah.
a CUDA accelerated card in there, and it kind of worked. So that's my extent of AI. Like I said, I've used AI like once.
I think I did. I started a little bit, then I've been using it daily. Not like on Saturdays and Sundays. I don't need to use it then, but at work. So like
Yeah, I
40
mean it's
hours.
useful.
I have
It's
40 hours of work and 8 hours to do it in. So
oh yeah, that's a big one. 2 gigs of RAM because that's on mine. It loaded the model I was using, which is six
yeah,
gigs.
of DDR5, I'm guessing also on yours.
Yeah, it's a 2070 Super. It has 8 gigs, so I see why these people load up like 6 24 gig VRAM cards.
Craft computing, right?
Yeah,
He's definitely one for that.
yeah. I was actually looking up the other day how much the 30, 60, 12 gigabyte cards go for, and to see like just for the memes how many I could get to load up into a server because 12 gigs for a 3060 is pretty solid. You got like 3 of them. You got like 36 gigs of VRAM to load models into. But I I have the habit of when I dip my toe into like a new hobby or something new that I'm working on, I then just faceplant and swim
Yeah.
around in it.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
can't just test the waters. Like, I ran one local AI instance, and I was like, "I need a dedicated AI server.
yeah,
Let me start
yeah.
looking up parts." So, yeah, I have a
Oh,
problem.
yeah,
That's
it's so
basically the gist
true.
of that.
Dude, it's so true, man. Like literally my first, do you know what my first server was? It was like literally a backup, like an old computer. It was like it was an i3 computer with 8 gig of RAM, and that was my first server. And then I saw Jeff's video about Chinese motherboards and X79 motherboards, and I was like, right. So what I need now is a rack. I need a chassis. I need like I got 2 Xeons, and I got that. I just went full in, and I need a router. Now they got a UDM Pro. That was my first router. I went from my normal home installation router to like, no, need a UDM Pro. Yep, need
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah, my first server was I think it was a Ryzen 2600G or something,
mm,
that was running VirtualBox on it, and, I started making videos, and those videos started doing well, and I was like, "Oh, I guess I need, like, a real server." So I dropped, like, 3 grand or something on an Epic system. I was like, "Okay, this is yep,
yeah.
got one little taste of virtualization and running servers." Just
I still blame Craft Computing for my bank account woes. So it's still his fault, you know.
he sent me a cool little
I sent you one. I'm gonna have to.
yeah,
I get over there, and I'm gonna have to
I don't
take
know if
one.
he customized let's see. Where's the oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, nice. That's nice.
Uh,
I need to get him to do me one, man. So when I get bigger, you know, I'm just a little like peewee. I'm like in kindergarten YouTuber at the moment, you know. So
dude, I miss kindergarten. You got to take naps in kindergarten?
yeah, that's true. I don't take naps though, but yeah.
You don't take
But
naps? I freaking love
I
naps.
I love them also. I just don't have time. I don't have to find time to take naps. So
Yeah, that's actually true.
let me just tell
Yeah,
you something quick.
let me
Yeah.
just try this new thing real quick, and then somehow, like, I blink and my credit card's out. I've got, like, 20 tabs open of different
Oh,
checkouts that I've purchased things
Jeff
with.
Gerling is here also. Nice.
There he is.
So
Mr. Jeff.
he's the reason I've probably gone through like hundreds of freaking Raspberry Pis and all kinds of weird stuff. So
Hey, Jeff, I was actually, thinking about, painting these walls here, and I was wondering if you wanted to come down to Houston and,
no,
paint my entire studio for me. I saw in your last video you really, really enjoyed that. So I wanted to help you out. No? Oh, damn. Shocking. Because when I saw that video and you posted it, I was like, dude, I hate painting more than anything. I literally, anytime my wife's like, we should paint this, I'm like, no, I'm injured. I can't. I hate it. I'm too like ADD for it or something. Like I start painting, I'm like, yep, I'm bored. I can't do this anymore. Like I don't know what it is. My brain doesn't allow me to enjoy painting. Call up LTT. Yeah, he's an expert painter. I'm sure he'll answer my call
oh
for
yeah,
sure. With my with my ADHD, I order all the parts, and by the time they get here, I've moved on, and the boxes just sit by my door for months.
I've got boxes of
I've
stuff
done
now.
that with so many like microprocessor and like soldering and circuit design projects because I used to really enjoy doing that. So I order all these parts, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a cool little project, and I order everything, and then I get them, and I put them on my little workshop desk, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
I
I'm
have
glad I bought
honestly the
that.
same, man. Under my desk, I've got like a UPS under my desk, which is not plugged in. Like I've got one. I didn't even pay for it either. Schneider, like APC, sent me one. I asked
Yeah.
because I know a friend of mine works there. So can you get me one? Yeah, sure, I can get you one. So they sent over one, and it's under my desk, and it's unpacked, but not out of the plastic. It's just out of its box. So, and yeah, that's where it's been for about 7 weeks.
Do you know how
Yeah,
long? Do you know how long my UDM Pro sat in a box in the corner of my office for before
I,
I installed it?
I swear to God, more than a day, Brett and I will come and kill you.
13 months.
God damn it, man!
13 months.
How do you
I
order
don't.
one
I
of
bought
those?
it, and I was like, I'm gonna set this up as like a secondary system so I can test Unify stuff. And then I never did. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll switch over to Unify full time. And then I kind of never did. And then finally, I was like, okay, they have the features I want that I've been looking for and needed with a new update. So then I finally switched. But yeah, it was 13 months. It was absolutely, absolutely crazy.
That's chaos, man.
Yeah, I usually don't have the patience for that at all. Oh, here's a good one. Any thoughts on the 45 drives HL15 shipping next week? I'm actually getting one, so I will have hands-on experience with one to make a video on. I think preliminary. I think I kind of stand with a lot of the people who have had the responses of it being too expensive to realistically get. And I get it for both sides. It's like I think it's like $800 or $600 for the case and the back plane, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you have to understand this is their first iteration. They're a smaller company, and these are like very small manufacturing process.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
expensive.
so you got to understand this isn't like Dell or Asus or
Thank God.
HP releasing something like.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get it. I think it's going to be cool. I'm hoping they ship on relatively soon because I'm excited to check it out.
I will
8K
not be
or
checking it out.
800 for the case in the back plane.
I
Okay.
won't be checking one out, but I will be checking out the videos of people who are checking them out. So that's my idea.
Yeah, that's that's a lot of money. And Jeff would know hands-on experience. He got to go up to the 45 drives headquarters and check out all their cool stuff they're working on.
Yeah, that was a good video also to watch.
That was really cool. Seeing a whole bunch of smart people in one room. Um, it was nice seeing that and getting everyone's experience and
Yeah.
perspective on everything. It was pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, you bought one. HL15 is my first real bully server, going from an old mini ITX 4th gen Ryzen with 4 drives in a Chenbro NAS enclosure to this. Did you get the? Did you shell out 2K for the whole system, or did you go
Yeah.
with the
That's a
backplane
pretty good
in
question
case
because that's
only?
a huge upgrade. That's a massive upgrade.
Yeah, the full system comes with, I think it's an 8-core or a 6-core Xeon that's not hyper threaded, so it's not super powerful. But I think if you wanted to upgrade the CPU in it, it wouldn't be that
Good night, Jeff.
big
Also,
of a
yeah.
deal. Yeah, later, Jeff. Thanks for stopping
Yeah.
by, my man.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, keeping the old machine as a backup. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the way to do it. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's expensive, but it's still cheaper than what I spent on my first server, and I've fully admitted that I have a problem and I buy things that I don't necessarily need. So I'm never going to shame someone for spending money on a server.
No, I agree.
That's for sure.
If you're, and also, there's value in learning it, also, you know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned a lot, to be honest, in actually doing stuff on the home lab. I find myself doing way more than I probably would have normally done. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's about motivation too, and people are going to sit here and say, "Oh, well, you could just spin up all this stuff on a $50 old Dell, uh, what are they called, Optiplex."
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but if you want and can afford a nicer server, and that's what
And,
motivates you to
yeah.
dive into it, then do it. Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
I mean, you spent money on other random crap. I mean, like, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
so,
spent
I
money
mean,
on way dumber things.
yeah. So,
How
I mean,
subjective is the word need? Very subjective.
yes.
Extremely subjective. The most subjective word when it comes to home labbing is
Oh,
need.
yeah. They actually, do you know what I did? I went through this phase where I started with this really like old equipment. Then I did some stuff right with that, and I was like, okay, I need to upgrade, and I went like full like balls to the wall, you know, double Xeon, the whole lot, right? One of the guys I mentioned earlier about one of the server builds I did in a Intertech case, right? So I was like, okay, double Xeons, 100 odd gig of RAM, the whole lot, and now I've kind of like scaled it down to one CPU EPYC, but with so the same amount of RAM more or less, but it's a bit more of an efficient server. And I'm kind of looking at efficiency now. Also, it was about the time when Russia, Ukraine, and stuff like this. So
Yeah,
so
I
like
think
efficiency is nice. Also,
yeah, I was kind of in that same boat. At one point, I bought a system to do a dual Xeon setup, and I set one up, and when I saw it was like idling at like 150, like 160 watts, I was like, okay, this is very unnecessary. And I can see why the trend has been going to mini PCs because they are efficient. They take up a small footprint, and
I can definitely recommend when you find cheaper old hardware, like especially the older Xeons and stuff. They can be tempting because they're cheap, but they do use quite a lot of power. So my power efficiency dropped a lot. My power efficiency, got a lot better once I switched from dual Xeons to an EPYC, and just because of iterations on CPUs, there's so much less power usage now.
yeah, I mean dual Xeons is like kind of a thing we all go through because it's once you find out you can build a dual socket, dual Xeon setup for like under $600, you're like,
motherboard's like $100 now.
I got to do this.
Yeah.
And then you see how much power it's drawing to run Pi-hole, and you're like, I don't need this.
So I feel like, again, this is blaming craft computing for this Chinese motherboard videos. So, but it's warranted. It's fine. So
I still have mine sitting right there. I can see it. It would be good, but it didn't support IOMMU, so I couldn't do pass through of PCI devices, which was a huge problem.
Okay.
So that system's kind of just sitting there. So yeah, but
my old dual Xeon server is actually one of the students is using now as his workstation. So he's running Endeavor. Yeah, he's running Linux on it, and it's got all of his stuff on there now. And that's his machine at school. So he's got dual Xeons with like 128 gig of RAM in it, and the other students are like, why does he get like that? Because he helped with all the other stuff, so he can have that one. He gets a nice one, the big boy machine.
Yeah, the perks.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to start
winding
down the stream now. I'd usually go longer, but I am
dying.
I'm starting to hit a point. My throat's starting to hurt more. So I'll read some more chats here, kind of wind down, and we'll jump off here in a bit. But
see what people are saying.
Oh, making you cough. I apologize for that. I feel like this happens in our house all the time. Like I'll get sick, and then like randomly, my wife will just be like, "Hey, I started
not
coughing."
All at the same time. It's one after the other, like a conga line. Everyone's got to get sick after the other one.
I blame the baby, dude. He started daycare, and I've been sick nonstop since he started daycare.
They're bacteria sponges,
dude. It is crazy because I didn't get sick too often, and he started daycare, and I've no joke been sick. It's probably like 2 weeks on, a week or two off, like nonstop since he started daycare a few months ago. And it's just like, this is rough.
But they do, man. They touch and lick freaking everything, and then they come back with every disease.
Yeah, I forgot. I thought it was a meme. Like everyone always said, "Oh yeah, when your baby starts daycare, they're gonna bring home sicknesses. You're gonna be sick like every week." And I was like, haha, good one. Yeah. Now I'm like, holy shit, dude, they were so right. Because this is brutal.
Kids have no concept of growth. Absolutely, they do not have any concept of growth. And that also doesn't, even when they get to 9 or 10 years old, it's the same. So yeah, especially boys, man.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits of tiny PCs jumping back into that is the noise.
Yeah.
A lot of them can be relatively quiet depending on which model CPU you go with. So yeah, that is another one if you don't want some fans screaming at you. But okay, I'm gonna wind it down here. I'm feeling it. these days. So, Robert, I appreciate you jumping on with me. I apologize I couldn't go longer.
It's
I'm
a couple
struggling
hours
here.
almost, so it's good for me, man.
But
So
everyone in the chat, thank you so much for hopping on this stream with us. I I really appreciate it. Go in the description. Go give Robert a follow,
yeah,
subscription on YouTube, Twitter as well. But yeah, no, I always appreciate you guys hopping in the stream and making this enjoyable experience for me as well as my guests. So I really appreciate you guys. And again, Robert, I appreciate you jumping on. We can do this again sometime if you want to stay up
for
till
sure.
2 a.m. again. So
Yeah, that's my way. I feel like I'm getting back to my younger self again somehow.
yeah, I'm just getting
So
older and sicker as days
yeah.
go by.
Oh yeah. No, that was fun. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for bringing me on, and the chat was really active and really interesting to see some of the questions coming there. So that was really good.
Yeah,
So
chat's
thanks,
always
everyone.
fun and usually well behaved. So I tip my cap to them.
So yes.
So
So
all right, guys, that's it.
yes.
I appreciate it again. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.
Yes.
Adios. I